Hello and welcome into this week's edition of the NASCAR Xfinity Series Rewind Show right here on Racing News Now. As always, I'm your host, Garth Allen. Thank you once again for joining me today. If this is your first time catching a Racing News Now video, consider going down below and hitting that subscribe button and ringing the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from RNN. On today's edition of the Xfinity Rewind, we're looking back at yesterday's 9th annual Johnsonville 180. 45 laps, 182 miles around the 4.048 mile road course, Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, Road America. Had a few full course cautions in this race because it is a road course race. You're going to tend to get more local yellows than you do full course cautions. Local yellows not being given in the race summary, not as big of a deal because it's usually just somebody gets off track, so local yellow in that corner just so people are watching out for it. We did, though, have 7 caution flags, full course caution flags, for a total of 10 laps in this race. First one came early at lap 5 when the 55 car of James French spun in turn number 1, and the 66 car of Carl Long stopped on the track. Second caution was at lap 9 shortly afterward when the 16 of Ryan Reed had his incident in turn number 3. Stage 1 ended at lap 12. Stage 1 would go to Matt Tifft. Stage 2, we had one incident. That was at lap 16 as the 22 of Austin Cindric got off track and into the wall in turn number 12. That would be your only incident of stage number 2. Stage 2 ended at lap 20. Your stage 2 winner would be Daniel Hemrick. Alright, so we had a couple of full course cautions in the final stage. First one came at lap 30 for fluid on the track from the 9 of Tyler Reddick, who had some rear gear issues, and this would be the end of the day for him. And lap 38 was your final caution of the day, 38 of 45, when the 45 car of Josh Bilicki got off track in turn number 12. Alright, so lap leaders on the day, 14 laps, a race high went to Justin Allgaier, 12 laps led by Matt Tifft. 8 laps were led by the 3 car of Brendan Gaughan, who had a very strong run on the day. 7 laps went to Daniel Hemrick, 2 laps to Austin Cindric, and 1 apiece to both James Davison and Ryan Sieg. Alright, so let's get into your results on the day. Justin Allgaier would be your winner on the day. 4th win of the season for Justin Allgaier, and his 9th career Xfinity victory. Held off Matt Tifft there at the end of the race, who also was strong on the day. They probably were the top 2 cars on the day, especially if you look at who led the most laps, obviously with Allgaier leading 14 and Tifft leading 12. They combined for 26 of the 45 laps led, so they definitely were up there and contending most of the day. Daniel Hemrick, Matt Tiff's teammate, comes home in the 3rd position. Cole Custer and Elliott Sadler rounded out the top 5. Rest of your top 10, Justin Marks in the 42 car this week. Ross Chastain there in the 7th position. It was announced this week he would be making 3 starts going forward in that 42 car for Chip Ganassi Racing. The first one coming at the next race in Darlington, as well as Vegas and Richmond. So 2 of the next 3 races leading up to the playoffs, and then the first race of the playoffs, Chastain will be in that 42 car. James Davison in a one-off race in the 18 car for JGR comes home in the 8th position, with Brandon Jones and Andy Lally rounding out the top 10. 11th through 20th, another strong run for Kaz Gralla in that 61 car. Michael Annett, again, right there about that 12th position. Not going to do a lot for you in the playoff picture. Actually lost points this week, being there in the 12th position. No stage points, whereas Ross Chastain finished 7th and picked up stage points in both stages. Catherine Legg returns this week in the 15 car, finishes a respectable 14th. The Canadian Alex Labay comes home in the 16th position. And awesome Bill from Dawsonville the rookie. Yes, he had a rookie stripe on in this race as he made his return to racing, his first time in a NASCAR vehicle in 6 years. Comes home in the 20th position, even though getting caught up in someone else's wreck in the middle of the race, and still came back to finish in the 20th position. So a respectable run there for Bill Elliott. 21st through 30th, Christopher Bell down here in the 23rd position. He had issues late in the race. Was strong in this one. Second in stage 1, fourth in stage number 2, but unfortunately had those problems late in the race. Came home in the 23rd position. Same thing for Brendan Gaughan down here in 24th. He had a very strong run going. We talked about him leading 8 laps on the day. Third in the first stage, but unfortunately 24th was all he could manage at the end of the race. Ryan Truex, 25th. Ty Majeski in the 60 this week, came home in 28th. 31st through 40th, last page down here, Connor Daly making a one-off start in that 6 car for Roush Fenway. Comes home in the 31st position, 10 laps down after having suspension problems late. Tyler Reddick, we talked about his rear gear issues, 34th on the day for Reddick. Austin Cindric also had engine problems, 37th on the day after only completing 15 laps in this race for Austin Cindric. Ryan Reed also having issues early, having that accident we mentioned very early, lap 6, 39th on the day for Ryan Reed. All right, that's your results from the Johnsonville 180. So let's head over to the Road America Media Center, and we'll see what your top finishers on the day had to say.
I didn't watch them. I could tell that he stopped watching a little bit because he got really quiet right at the end. These guys build fantastic race cars, and this is one of those places that I've wanted to win at for a long time, and been in position to, and have been able to seal the deal. And the pit call today, keeping the track position, Jason and I were just talking about that on the way over here. Today track position was so important, and I feel like the field was so evenly matched that the pit call that they made was fantastic. And then at the end there, it was just a matter of minding your P's and Q's, not burning the tires off of it. I saw a lot of action going on in the mirror behind me. There was grass flying and all kinds of stuff. So once the 18 and the 42 had their problem in 8, from there on out it was just, hey, don't drive off the racetrack, don't do anything stupid, don't break your transmission, don't over rev the engine. There's so many things that go through your mind, especially there at the end, and just proud of these guys, to take our Brant Professional Agriculture Camaro to victory lane again. That's 4 races this year we've been to victory lane. Today is actually Evelyn Brandt Thomas's birthday, which she's one of the founders of Brandt. So pretty awesome to be able to win on her birthday and come home with a solid day.
And as always, we'll take a look at your playoff grid before wrapping up here tonight. 3 races remaining until we start the Xfinity playoffs, those being Darlington, Indy, and Las Vegas in the coming weeks. So we'll see here, we're getting down to crunch time, 3 races remaining. Matt Tifft moves up to the 9th position in points, dropping Austin Cindric back to 10th. Otherwise, no real movement this week other than Justin Allgaier tying Christopher Bell now with 4 wins on the season. Justin Allgaier has really hit his stride lately, but Christopher Bell has been really good most races of late as well. So these two, I think, right now are really setting themselves up as the title favorites for this year. I wouldn't necessarily count out guys like Elliott Sadler, Cole Custer, Daniel Hemrick either, though. I think once one of them gets a win, they're going to be right up there with Allgaier and Bell contending for the championship going forward. Points difference down here at the cutoff line has lengthened a bit, 7 points this week now, as it's a 49-point gap between Ross Chastain and Michael Annett. And to be honest, I see that lengthening even more going forward, with Ross Chastain being in that 42 car for 2 of the next 3 weeks before we get into the playoffs, and then Richmond to start the playoffs. I see that gap growing even more. So, if I am Michael Annett at this point, or honestly, if I'm any of these guys outside the playoffs, like I said last week, you've got to be looking at ways to strategize your way into a win. none of these guys are running good enough right now. Michael Annett, Jeremy Clements, Ryan Sieg, Alex LeBay, none of these guys outside the top 12 are running good enough right now that they can say, okay, well, we're running good enough that if circumstances play out right, we can win a race. No, none of these guys are running that well that you can just hope circumstances work out in your favor one week. It's not going to happen. You've got to strategize your way into a win. And I will give Ryan Sieg credit. They tried to do that this week at Road America. Stayed out on late caution. Tried to make that work. Unfortunately, didn't quite work out for them. But you got to give them points for trying, because that's all they've got left at this point. Especially for somebody like Ryan Sieg. He's 120 points out at this point. You are definitely not pointing your way in 3 races from 120 points out. You've got to find a way to win a race. And yeah, I give them credit. They tried. It didn't work out for them, but they tried nonetheless. So that's your playoff grid following the Johnsonville 180, and I think that'll do it for us tonight. We've got a few more shows coming up. Things are a little backed up here because we were in Berlin yesterday, so this will be going up shortly after this. There should be an ARCA rewind for Berlin, and if time allows, there will be a truck rewind tonight as well for Mosport. That will get recorded tonight. It just depends on whether it gets uploaded tonight or not. It depends how long this and the ARCA rewind take. And then, of course, as always, pole position Monday night, 8 p.m. That'll be tomorrow night. Recapping everything that happened this weekend. Xfinity, trucks, ARCA, IndyCar, F1, everything that happened this weekend, we've got you covered. So that'll be pole position tomorrow night, 8 p.m., as well as all of these rewind shows that the 3 of them hopefully will be up tonight. If not, it should be at least this and the ARCA rewind, and then the trucks, if they don't get up tonight, will get up tomorrow. So if you haven't done it already, you need to hit that subscribe button down below and ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss any of that going forward. And if you missed out on our Berlin coverage this weekend, we had some great chats with the usual cast of characters from the ARCA Garage, and we'll continue to do more of that going forward. We have plans right now. We should be at every one of the remaining ARCA races on the schedule, that being DuQuoin on September 3rd, Lucas Oil Raceway and Indy September 7th, Salem September 15th, and Kansas October 19th. So we've got a lot coming up here in the coming weeks, and we have some other stuff that not quite ready to announce yet, but that are in the works coming up. That there will be some good stuff coming up here on the channel that you will want to see. So if you haven't done it already, you need to hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and hit that big thumbs up button if you like the video. It is much appreciated when you do. So with that, this has been the NASCAR Xfinity Series Rewind Show. I'm Garth Allen for Racing News Now.